I'm here in the not so sunny Lincolnshire countryside at Evotech Performance because they have just released the new tail tidy for the Gen 2 Ducati Scrambler. If you follow the channel, you'll probably know that I've already fitted a few of their parts onto the Scrambler, and I've got one of the tail tidies on the GS X8S. And I've always been impressed by the quality of the finish and how well they fit, the packaging and everything. So it wasn't a hard decision when it came to what tail tidy I put on the Scrambler. But before this goes on the bike, I've been very kindly given the opportunity to come and see what goes on behind the scenes and what exactly goes into the design and manufacture of the Evotech parts. So let's go take a look. Evotech Performance are based here in Lincolnshire, just a short run from Lathe, home of Honda Racing, and Cadwell Park, one of the UK's most iconic circuits. When the founders were unable to buy the aftermarket parts they wanted, they set out to make their own. And they've gone on to build a reputation for precision engineered aftermarket parts which are designed, tested and manufactured right here in the UK.
We even made that sign, by the way. So yeah, this is the design office. So in here there's Annie writing blogs, we've got designers over there, we've got me and Chris also on the design, and Mike on the PR. We'll bring the bike in this particular environment, we'll then scan the areas of interest so that we can bring the bike actually into our digital environment. So once it's in there, then we can start designing and building the parts and all the ideas from those scans. Typical example of a bike that we would actually buy. So when these first came out, we bought this one and it'll act as a bit of a mule. So we'll be trying some of the new products on this one. So you can see here it's got mirrors on it, it's got a sump guard on there as well, radiator guards and tail tidy and all the bits and bobs. So this is one of the bikes that's actually used, so that we'll be putting the mileage on it to test all the product out. The guys in here will be doing the programming, so they'll be doing the CAM software. So what that does, it will take our model after we've finished it, and then they'll be basically programming the milling machines, the lathes, those kind of things. So effectively they're producing the bits that we're designing. This is one of the guys who's using the new GSA 1300. That's the best bike in here, that's my VFR 800 over there. So this is the manufacturing side of Evotech Performance, so we'll give you a bit of a tour around. This will have been running through the night, so it's not running at the moment, but this is our punching machine, so there's quite a few parts go through this still. This is more the sheet metal side of the business. If we just go over to these new machines, so again, this is just being set up at the moment. So what this does, it's got a cabinet of different product. Each one of those separate like little platforms here, these pallets, the robot will pick one of those up and put it into the machine, which means that it can run unmanned through the night. There's still quite a high degree of skill and a high degree of labour needed in the daytime to basically take the parts that have been done out and put the new stock back in. But these are full simultaneous 5-axis machines, which means it can move all 5 of their axes and mill at the same time. So it's not necessarily that you can make a more complex part, although you can. It will also be a lot more efficient because it'll allow shorter tools. You can drive the tools a lot harder because you can manipulate the part so that you can access it straight from the top rather than having to go with a long tool like down the side. Typical, the type of things, if you look at Brembo calipers, Öhlins, fork legs, those kind of things, where there's a high level of organic shape. It isn't just an X, Y and Z type machine. These machines are slightly unusual. This is more of a gantry milling machine, so this kind of brings sheet metal and machining all into one. With that machine, you actually put sheets onto it. But you don't fasten the sheets down, they're actually sucked down on a vacuum bed. What they do is they take small but very fast cuts. You can gang all of the actual small parts together and do them all in one go, which means that that program might take 4, 6, 8 hours to do, but you don't need a man to be stood by it. But if you was doing it on a conventional machine, you'd have to do them one at a time. Well, that can do a full sheet's worth in one go. So it allows the efficiency for you to redeploy the staff elsewhere. You'll notice that there's actually no coolant, there's no suds. What it's doing is it's got little blowers that blow neat ethanol directly at the tip, and that keeps the tip cool and allows it to cut. By the time the Swarf's landed, it's already dry. Whereas on a conventional milling machine, it will be absolutely flooded with like a water-based cutting fluid. Sort of unconventional, but yeah, very nice machine. Probably aware what a lathe is. but these are slightly different. These are what's called a sliding head lathe. So on a typical turret lathe, if you wanted a part, I don't know, 4 inches long, you'd probably need a little, maybe 4.5 inches stuck out the chuck, and then the tool will be driven into the actual into the material. With a sliding head lathe, it's slightly different. The material is actually driven into the tool, and the tool can stay very close to the chuck, which means that you don't get a lot of vibrations or wobbles. With these machines, you can go straight to finish. There's no roughing cuts and there's no finishing cut. It's in one go. Typically with these, we'll be making our caliper bolts, the bolts that will go with our crash protection. In 2019, we realised we needed to up the quality of the bolts that we were buying in, typically M10, M12, the fine pitch, quite unusual lengths of bolts, quite long. You just couldn't buy them. There was no source to consistently buy bolts in this country. So we thought the only path to do that would be to make them ourselves. Hence where the Citizens sliding head lathes come in. This particular one at the moment is actually making a special bolt, which is for Hickman's team, 810. It's just a particular bolt length that was to a particular spec in 316 stainless. The threads are actually forged on. They're done with a rolling process rather than a cutting process. Looks like a spam tin. But what that actually is the compacted swarf that comes out of these milling machines. So when you're dealing with big lumps of aluminium, there's a lot of swarf that will be produced from that. So what we realised quite early on was that these machines can produce enough swarf to fill a bin this size in a day, easily. Well, in that bin wasn't just your swarf. There was all of your cutting compound, a lot of thin air, and having to move the bins around a lot. So you're using skilled staff, skilled labour to move bins basically full of loose, fluffy swarf, which would typically look more like that. So if we put them through a compaction machine, which these briquette machines do, both machines will feed into one of those, and it'll compact that aluminium on a roughly an 8:1 to a 10:1 ratio. What that allows us to do, it reclaims the fluids back into the machine, so you're not losing a lot of your compounds. It also means that we don't have to swap these bins around every day. We can do it once every week, something along those lines. And it also means that the recycling people don't have to come and collect it quite so often. So there's a lot of reasons why an investment in dealing with your swarf it's a practical one and a money-saving one as well. As you can see here, the flat parts will come through to the bending team. They will then go through the process of bending the part up to then generate the 3D shape from a 2D one. They'll be working from the models and the drawings directly linked to the designers. So you see by the looks of it, Andy's doing a part for one of the race teams, which is like a little fairing bracket for one of the Hondas. Typically, it's just a very basic and simple part, but that'll be one for one of the Honda race teams, the little side bracket. And you see Andy just putting it through now. These are like literally parts that we've never done before, so Andy will be just sort of dialing that in a little bit. These are our more conventional lathes, so these are turret lathes, both twin turret, both twin Y-axis, which effectively means that you can turn a mill off-centre. They've both got a main spindle and they've both got a sub-spindle, so the finished part will basically pop out one end and it will feed new bar in from the other. At the moment it's just doing quite a simple turning part, but the process time on that will be probably well under a minute, so very quick. This one is basically a big version of that one. So whereas on that machine we can go up to 38 mil or 1.5 inches, on this machine it'll go up to 80 mil bore, so it's much bigger, a lot more going on. The vast majority of the products that we produce will go through the powder coating. We use like a textured black. It's very much our kind of calling card. It creates a very sort of OE finish to the products, be it tail tidies, radiator guards, crash protection, or any of the parts that we make. We had this plant built for us. We've been powder coating since well, probably for over 20 years. But we had this particular plant built, bespoke for us a few years ago, some of which is our design or to our specification. So there's a 3-stage wet process. The very first of these tanks just there, that will be a hot wash, and in that will be detergent and a phosphate. Then there'll be a dirty rinse and then a clean rinse. But when the parts then come out of there, they'll queue up ready to go into the drying oven. When there's 6 bars, 6 of these been through the wet wash, it'll then trigger that oven to open and it'll let all 6 go in as one. 18 minutes later, at around 100, 110 degrees, they'll come out of there dry. Then they'll go and queue up at the spray booth. They'll then go one by one, the bars will go through the spray booth where one of the guys will actually put the powder in place. We can't automate that because of the variation of the product. You could be doing big heavy crash protector 1 minute and little brackets the next. So there's no automation on that bit, but everything else is automated. So again, once 6 bars have been sprayed, the curing oven will open and those parts will then go in for around 10 to 12 minutes at around 200 degrees. Then they'll come out here and cool down. And then at that point, the parts will be taken down and then the empty bars will then be rehung with the raw product. There has to be somebody putting that pad print on every single product we do. Be it the radiator guard, a tail tidy, crash protection, or in this case, a spindle bobbin. It's actually called a print transfer process. So what happens, if you see this plate here, where it says Evotech on that little shiny plate, that's a microscopic, like 20 microns recess where the paint, this bit here is actually full of paint, and that ceramic ring scrapes the paint over that small logo that's recessed within that plate, and then like the little rubber like thing actually, as it presses down, it then pulls the ink up and then transfers it over to that part, which then the process is complete. So this is the final part of the process, or towards the end of the final part of the process. So the finished parts from production will come up here, and then the guys will start to assemble it. So there'll be all of the raw finished parts that will then need putting together in a kit so that it can be packed. And when it's fully packed, it'll then go downstairs and then it'll be stored in the modular systems. That's an oil cooler guard. We've got parts for crash protection. We've got some finished parts trays, we've got some bolts, just random bits, but they've all got a piece of paperwork with them, and that gives us full traceability. So we know who did what, when, but we also know where the material came from. So it's all part of the quality control. From a packaging perspective, you'll see that there is no bubble wrap, there's no plastic tape, there's no plastic bags, no plastic boxes. Everything is done and finished in with paper. We managed to eradicate the plastic packaging probably 6 years ago. It made us less efficient, but it was kind of the right thing to do. We get a lot of compliments about how nice it is for somebody to be proactively making it obvious about what you do with the packaging material. It's very clear that this can just go straight into your paper bin. In here, this is the storage facility. So in the old days, in the old buildings over the other side of the road, we just typically had the grey bins with pigeonholes in at fixed locations. The problems with that, there was a lot of walking, there was a lot of knowing where things are, there was a lot of bins going empty, and there was no stock management of those kind of things, which basically meant you were probably stocking thin air. Well, what these systems do, they're called modulars, and these actually allow you to store upwards. So when the orders come through from the website, they will pump through to the computer that is then talking to all of these machines. So at the point where the lead gets an order, he'll then press pick anywhere where there's a light on, which means that a tray will be pulled out from somewhere within that machine, and within that tray will be the part that is required for that particular order. At the point where that part is picked, the machine will then take that tray away and start looking for the next one, but you just go to the next machine, and it means that your efficiency rate goes absolutely through the roof. So the rate that you can pick things is improved greatly. We've invested in efficiency with this, and it allows us to be very responsive when it comes to dispatch. So you order one day, assuming the parts are actually in stock, then they'll be picked and dispatched that very same day. So I think your order's about to come down, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah. And here is my tail tidy, all completed, boxed up and ready to go on the bike. So there you go, we've seen how these parts are made, and to be honest, before I went to see the guys at Evotech, I didn't realise there was so much involved in it, and it is good to see that everything is done in-house, everything's made here in the UK, and it just blew me away, the efficiencies and the quality of the work. Whilst I'm out here working on the Scrambler, it's worth remembering that not every insurance company understands modified bikes, but Bike Sure absolutely do. Whether your bike's completely standard or heavily customised, they specialise in arranging cover that's built around you and your exact setup. They've been doing this for over 30 years, and they genuinely treat riders as individuals, not just another number on a comparison website. So whatever's in your garage, from daily commuter right through to full-on custom machine, it's worth speaking to a team that actually gets it, and I've left a link to Bike Short down in the description if you want to go and check them out. Now, normally the installations I'll take you through step by step. The one thing about Evotech is though that they have an install video on every one of their products on the website, or pretty much every one of their products. So it kind of feels like I don't want to reinvent the wheel with this. If you really want to know how this fits, then you can go away and watch their short video. So to bring this video to a close, I thought I'd just show you the stock number plate holder as it comes on the bike from the factory, compared to the bike now fitted with the Evotech tail tidy. Much neater, much smarter, I think. It really shows off that rear tyre. It also makes changing the rear wheel easier because you don't have to faff around taking that number plate support off. Overall, a really nice piece of kit. As you've seen, very well engineered, fits perfectly, no issues. So if you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.